For Thursday, December 1st, Gary Bowden.
Here.
Robert Kaplan.
Here.
Ryan Kennedy.
Here.
Sam Lopez.
Here.
Chad Sigmund.
Here.
Vice Mayor Malfajoe.
Here.
Mayor Goulding. Here. This evening, we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember Bowden.
I've mentioned a couple of times that having done this now for about 4 or 5 years and talked to leaders from other cities, that if we as a city council, our administrative staff, our emergency services workers, all kept as their primary focus the families in our community, we could always go home comfortable at night that we're doing the right things for our city. And in the aftermath of Thanksgiving and the coming of Christmas, I thought it'd be a good idea to say a little prayer for our families tonight. So if you will bow your heads. Lord of all, bless our families, be they formed by blood or by circumstance. Make them holy. May we find you in our relationships, in our marriages, in our families, in our households, in our communities, in our global humanity. May we look across all that divides us and see family, and embrace as a family does, as love, and love as a family ought to. For where 2 or 3 gather in your name, there are you. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of the regular session of November 3, 2016.
So move. Second.
If there are no objections, then motion carries.
Approval of the minutes of the conference work session of November 10, 2016.
So moved. Second.
If there are no objections, motion carries.
Approval of the minutes of the special session of November 22, 2016.
So moved. Second.
If there are no objections, motion carries.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. We have none this evening. City Manager's report and update.
Just under general updates, the West Pike Street at North Florence intersection radius improvements, Reclaim has completed raising the structure at 514 East Pike. Green River Group LLC from Morgantown, whom the contractor council awarded the bid to, has mobilized their equipment and begun the radius improvements as of today. This project will approximately take 1.5 to 2 weeks to complete. The Lowndes Hill project, Bear Contracting has completed the roadway from the portion of South 2nd Street from Elliott Street to the exit from the YMCA. The improvements did include the full depth repairs that were called for within the plans, the new curbs and full width paving of the roadway. And now the roadway is now closed from Van Buren, from the exit of the Y all the way to the end of the project towards Chestnut Hills. And the contractor is also currently there doing the full depth repairs within that section of roadway for this first phase of this project.
Do they have any idea when it will be completed?
Well, it's hard to tell, but just when you get into the full depth repairs of what else needs done once we're into the roadway. But we would hope here prior to the paving season ending. Also with the YMCA, the HVAC replacement project, the pre-construction meeting will be held Monday, December 5th, and it will be at the YMCA with the contractor who wants the city plumbing and heating from Morgantown. And this was also one of the bids that council awarded at the last council meeting. Fairmont Avenue wall replacement project. Again, this is 150 linear feet of a concrete wall on Fairmont Avenue that's going to be replaced. The contractor did notify us as of today they will be on site beginning Monday, December 5th to begin. And this contractor's SW Group from Grafton that'll be doing this project. So he's put his supplies together off-site. There's limited space available on-site for the construction. So he'll be bringing in his material as they begin the project. Under economic development, the brownfields, information from the EPA was mailed to the community members near the old glass plant along North 25th Street in Northview. During the week of December 5th, EPA partners will be in Clarksburg to interview residents and local officials to gather information to help identify key community needs in preparation of a community involvement plan. And this is very similar to what we've gone through on the other brownfield sites, but the EPA will be handling this. So those officials will be on hand. And then this will be added to the national priorities list in September of 16.
This is the one down by the river there.
Yes, yes. No rolling glass. Ribbon cuttings, Stonewall Coffee, located at 218 Court Street, will be Tuesday, December 6th at 12 noon. And Hooch's House Bed and Biscuits, which is a new place over on Broadway Avenue, will be Tuesday, December 20th at 11 a.m. And just under events, just a reminder, the Christmas parade is tomorrow. The streets closure will begin around 5 p.m. Start closing the routes for the parade. And the Jazz Stroll will be Friday, December 9th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. That completes the manager's report.
Thank you.
Unfinished business. To consider for adoption by the City Council of the City on second reading a bond authorizing ordinance which authorizes the issuance by the city of its sales tax revenue bond anticipation notes, Series 2016B, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $16 million for the purposes of financing cost of the design, acquisition, construction, and equipping of renovations and improvements to the Robinson Grand Theater, together with the acquisition of real and personal property, fixtures, furnishings, and equipment in connection therewith, and new or additional improvements or facilities relating thereto, and the payment of architectural and engineering cost and cost for other consulting or professional services that may be necessary in connection therewith, and the payment of cost of issuance of such obligations and related costs, authorizing the execution and delivery of all documents which may be necessary in connection with the foregoing and matters relating thereto.
So moved. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Gary Bowden,
Aye.
Robert Kaplan,
Aye.
Brian Kennedy,
No.
Sam Lopez, Chad Sigmund,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Malfajoe,
Aye.
Mayor Goings.
Aye.
Consideration of Harrison County Commission's appointment to the Central Board. This matter was tabled at the November 3rd meeting. New business. Consideration of a petition filed by Clifford and Rochelle Henderson requesting the abandonment of portions of Rose Avenue located in the Northview section of the city.
Madam Mayor. Move that this petition be sent to planning and zoning.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a petition filed by John and Julie requesting the abandonment of a portion of North 16th Street located in the Northview section of the city and a minor boundary adjustment of property located on James Street.
So moved.
And this
Second.
would be to refer it to the planning and
Yeah, we
zoning.
need to move it to, do I have a motion to?
Move that this petition also be sent to planning and zoning.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Council comments?
Okay, real quick, I have a couple of things. I had received a message from Reverend John Kerner from the First Presbyterian Church. He said, hello, this is John Kerner from First Presbyterian Church. The leaves from the trees around the fountain had blown into a pile on our sidewalk. I just noticed city workers came by, blew the leaves off our sidewalk, and took them away. That was unexpected and much appreciated. Can't say enough good things about our city workers. Please thank them for us. Blessings, Reverend John Kerner. So if you would please pass that on to Public Works. One other thing. Actually, I have two other things. Martin, we talked about this earlier. Chief, tomorrow evening for the parade,
Yes, ma'am.
you usually bag the meters so that there's no parking. The Mason House has requested if we could bag their meters from 2nd down to E.B. Saunders, because people will park there for the parade, and then when people are, that's one of the routes to get out of the parade route, and it's causing congestion, and the residents can't get in and out of the Mason House. And especially if there's any type of emergency, you know, whether it's EMS or police. And they said if you could just do it for the parade.
Yeah, Washington behind
Yes,
that. Washington.
between 2nd and E.B. Saunders, right there in, I guess, is that the back of
Behind
Mason House or
D&D.
the front? They just asked if we would consider doing that to make it easier for them to get in and out. And we talked about that earlier, so. hopefully that's not a problem. And then one other thing I want to bring up, when we went to the National League of Cities in Pittsburgh, the big topic was the opioid epidemic. I mean, it's everywhere, all across the United States, throughout our state. I mean, it's just everywhere. And then we've had several overdoses in the last couple of weeks, resulting in death. And so I think that we need to maybe redirect our focus and perhaps assign an additional person to the drug task force. And I know that we're short right now of police officers, but I also feel that a lot of the cases that they're working on are drug related. So if we could get one of those individuals and assign them permanently to the drug task force, because I know that they're going to start beefing up, the number of people on the task force. And I think that it speaks volumes for the city to step up and say, hey, we're on board with, even though we already have people assigned, but it's got to be more. And I know that's going to be a burden to you, but we really need to figure out where we can, redirect someone to that. And I spoke to members of council, and I think everybody's pretty much on board that this is the direction we need to go. And I know it's going to take you a while to figure out, but we would, at least by year end, if you could name the individual that's going to be assigned to the drug task force.
Other than the additional one that already left, because I'm getting ready to do that, to bring it back to where it was at.
Well, replace the one that we missed or that were short, and then assign another one.
So if we put another, it's 3.
So we'll have 3. I mean, this problem's much bigger than us.
Well, counting the one on the MCAT, was that also is.
Do they consider that part of the drug
Yes.
task
Yeah, they
force?
work
They're in the same office, yeah.
Well, we need one additional. Replace the one that just left and then give us another one.
3 task force and 1 MCAT.
Sure. I don't think there can be too many people.
No?
And I know you're short, but, maybe we could redirect people in different areas. And do you guys?
Madam Mayor, if I could ask a question that's related. They're forming a new task force to go after doctors and pharmacists and what have you.
Diversionary unit.
I forget, is that the name?
Diversion unit.
Diversion unit. I'm assuming they're going to be coming to us for someone for that as well. Am I correct?
Already have.
Okay, I just want to throw that in the mix that we're going to be. I'm totally behind you, but they're going to be asking for even more, so we need to be aware of that.
Well, but this is the crisis that our country's in right now, so I don't think we can have too many people.
Probably not.
And so we just need to maybe refocus and redirect, and I'm just throwing that out there. That's all that I have this evening, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. Don't forget, tomorrow is the annual Christmas parade. It starts at 6 o'clock. I took a ride up Lowndes Hill yesterday, and I was just absolutely amazed of how nice it is. And I'm sure that when they get the rest of it done down into Chestnut Hills, it's going to be even better. That's all I have.
See?
Just a couple things, I'd like to, comment about our decorations and our trees, which help with a big tree and a net. And the public works guys that put up our decorations every year, I think it makes downtown really look beautiful. And then, I was for that 1% all the way, and here, we wouldn't be talking about the Robinson Grand today if we never passed the 1% sales tax. Wouldn't be talking about Lowndes Hill, Jimmy, if we never passed the 1% sales tax. We wouldn't talk about Sycamore Bridge if we had 1% sales tax. Helping us with the Y. and everything that's happened has just been positive. Infrastructure, police and fire pension, I mean, that is one of the biggest votes I probably ever will make sitting on this council, is passing that 1% with the infrastructure and everything else that is involved with this. We wouldn't be talking today about the Robinson Grant if we never passed the 1% or all these other major projects that we're doing now in the city of Clarksburg. And I want to thank the council people that supported it and continue to support it, and the administration for doing such a fine job on implementing the projects. Yeah, that's all, Madam Mayor.
Zeke, before we go on to you, Chad, you just remind me, this weekend with Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, I had a lot of people that were in town, from out of town, and they hadn't been here for some, a couple of years, and a couple of them were just a year. But they just went on and on about how wonderful our city looked and how clean it looked, and of course with the lights and the paving. And so people outside of our city are noticing what we do here. So it's good to hear, positive comments about, what we're doing from somebody on the outside looking in. So I did want to pass that on as well. So I'll turn it over to you.
Well, Zeke said a lot of that I had. I was going to say, with 1% sales tax, we're able to accomplish so many things that we wouldn't be able to have done if we didn't pass it. I'm excited to see, which was a big issue when I was running for council, was the transparency. And now we're going to have those numbers to show the public exactly where that money's going, to show that all these good projects such as Lowndes Hill, Sycamore Bridge, so they, instead of just thinking that they're against one project, they're seeing the overall picture of all the great things that are coming into this community. And for example, this is our first night we're having televised. That's how many people have wanted that. It's happened.
Well, it's
What's it? We're piloting.
we're just still working. It's not going to be out there, so don't let people know that it's out there. We're just kind of fine-tuning.
But we're taking the positive steps that people wanted from the start, and it's good to see everything that's happening. Thank you.
Right.
Well, first of all, I wanted to start by concurring with what the mayor said about the opioid epidemic being probably the biggest problem that our city possibly has ever faced. And we're right at the epicenter of a national epidemic here. And so I'm completely supportive of doing whatever we can with redirecting city resources to fight this problem, because I can't think of a bigger problem that we have right now, or that I've ever seen before, quite frankly. Some of the other stuff I was going to say has already been said by other people, reminding people about the parade and the jazz stroll coming up, which are both great things. I also drove 2nd Street, and it was much smoother than I remembered before. And the only other thing I wanted to say, since the 1% was brought up, was that we heard a lot of things about the projects that the money's being used for, but my concern has always been more where the money comes from. And sales taxes are always the most regressive form of taxation, which means it hits the poor the most. And you're taking money from people that can least afford it. And we're talking seniors, working families, et cetera. And that's my main objection to a sales tax, is that it tends to hurt the people that can least afford to pay it. And so that's my position on the sales tax. And that's all I have.
Gary?
I just want to echo Reverend Kerner's comments, that because I happen to live on a street in Clarksburg that gets the leaf vacuum, is what I call it, that comes around once in a while. And for our communities where they're able to do that, it is really nice that folks can just pull their leaves out into the street, and you guys come along every couple of weeks or more often and pick them up. It's I just think it's a nice thing that we do, and I still have people in our community that are surprised when I tell them that they can do that, just pull them out into the street, and actually it creates a little excitement when people know they don't have to bag them all up. That's
I actually have, I have nothing to say. I mean, I did the drive up 2nd Street. Christmas is coming. The town looks beautiful. As Clarksburg goes, so goes Harrison County. And it's just a great day to be in Clarksburg, right, Mark?
Somebody used to say that.
Kathy, I had one other thing.
Okay.
Since they willingly told me about this, I happened about a week or so ago to stop into the Stonewall Cafe, which is very nice. I haven't been in there, but they're offering, and I don't think they'll mind me telling this because they gave me a big postcard here with it on, $1 regular size coffees all day long, and that even includes, I asked them, that even includes the fancy frou-frou ones if you want to doll up your coffee a little bit. So just a little extra incentive to stop by. It's a very nice place.
My wife may be living there that day.
Yeah.
I just have one last thing to say. This is,
$1 coffee all day.
this is also such a
You want to give
joyous
that to your
time
social media?
and for a thanks and also, with Christmas, but we also have to think about individuals that are, during this time, it could be the hardest time for some individuals. And that's one reason I'm wearing the shirts, always keep fighting. There's a lot of individuals that are out there that are suffering with mental illness and depression, and I just want to keep those people in our thoughts and always see somebody just to put a smile, because a smile goes a long way, especially for individuals that are going through rough times.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we are going to the VA nursing home Monday evening at 6 o'clock with the Mayor's Youth Council. We do that annually and we decorate their doors for the holidays. So anybody that would like to participate will be there. So 6 o'clock.
That's at the,
The VA nursing
I know you
home.
want these trash in if you want.
Okay.
It's just
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.
just toss them and look at